No one on the Karun trading outpost remembered why they stopped to help the broken human ship. Humans were insignificant then, scattered across the fringe. Underpowered and underfunded, the Terran vessel drifted powerless. Hull burned, life support failing. Most species would have ignored it and moved on. But the Karun were traders before warriors. They answered distress calls out of habit rather than mercy. When they docked, they found a single human captain aboard. Injured, but alive. His name was Elias Mercer, and he refused to abandon his ship. The Karun repaired his reactor, shared food, and towed the vessel to a safe lane. They asked for payment, because all things required balance. Mercer offered what he had: old Earth music, navigation data, and stories of a distant blue world. The Karun accepted with mild amusement. Before departing, Mercer transmitted a simple message to Terran space: coordinates, circumstances, and one line of text. They helped me when they did not have to. The Karun forgot him almost immediately. To them, it was a minor kindness in a long cycle of commerce. But in Terran space, that message spread quietly, logged into fleet archives, merchant databases, and military memory core. Humans were new, but humans remembered. They remembered favors, debts, and names. And they remembered who chose mercy. When it was inconvenient, years passed. The Karun grew prosperous. Then, overconfident, they expanded trade routes into hostile regions, trusting treaties and profit margins. They did not see the war forming beyond their borders. When the first enemy fleets arrived, the Karun defenses failed within hours. Their warships were designed to intimidate pirates, not repel extermination fleets. Outposts burned, trade hubs collapsed, and distress beacons screamed into the void. One of those signals carried an old identifier, a merchant guild signature, long archived in Terran records. And deep within human space, something stirred. The Karun High Trade Council sent the call reluctantly. They had exhausted allies, mercenaries, and private security fleets. This final message was sent to every registered species, a plea stripped of pride and bargaining, civilization under threat. Assistance requested, most governments ignored it. Some recorded it for historical purposes. A few laughed at the irony of traders begging for protection. In Terran space, alarms activated quietly. Old protocols surfaced from forgotten directories. A priority marker appeared on human networks, one that only activated when a debt existed. The message reached military channels, commercial lanes, and independent captains alike. It carried a simple tag beneath the transmission header: Karun Merchant Guild, aboard a Terran destroyer near the Orion Drift. Captain Reyes froze mid-stride. She recognized the name from Academy briefings, from a story about a broken ship and a single act of kindness across human space. Similar reactions occurred. Merchant captains paused cargo runs. Explorers altered jump vectors. Retired admirals reopened sealed command codes. No central authority issued orders. No human government declared war. The response was voluntary, unanimous, and immediate. Fleet channels lit up with identical acknowledgments. Signal received. Debt confirmed. Course plotted. Human shipyards broke. Safety locks. Civilian haulers, mounted weapon pods, long kept in storage. Warships exited dry dock unfinished, trusting human engineers to fix problems en route. The call spread faster than light through human culture. Not as a command, but as a story. They helped one of ours, in a distant system. Elias Mercer watched the mobilization feeds in silence. Older now, scarred by years of command, he said nothing, because nothing needed to be said. The humans were coming. Not for conquest, not for profit, but because the promise remembered is stronger than any treaty. The enemy fleet surrounded the Karun home system like a closing fist. Their ships were massive, angular, designed for annihilation rather than battle. Karun defenses crumbled under sustained bombardment. Civilian stations evacuated blindly. Then the sensors changed. Contacts appeared at the edge of detection. Not a single fleet, but hundreds of independent jump signatures. The enemy commanders laughed at first. Human vessels were smaller, irregular, and mismatched. Some carried outdated hulls, others experimental frames. None bore the markings of a unified empire. Then the humans opened fire. Precision strikes disabled enemy command nodes in seconds. Electronic warfare flooded hostile networks with false targets and corrupted orders. Human captains fought like individuals, yet moved like a single organism. The Karun watched in disbelief as the tide turned. Human ships placed themselves between enemy fire and civilian stations. They absorbed losses without hesitation and retaliated with overwhelming ferocity. Terran tactics ignored conventional doctrine. They used cargo vessels as missile platforms, mining lasers as ship-cutting weapons. Even civilian shuttles served as decoys when an enemy dreadnought breached Karun orbit. 3 Terran frigates rammed it simultaneously, detonating reactors by manual override. The explosions lit the planet's sky like a second sun. Communications filled with human voices, calm and focused. Target neutralized. Protect the habitat ring. Keep them away from the evac lanes. Not once did they ask for payment. Not once did they demand command authority. They fought as if the system already belonged to them. Asterisk, as the final enemy ships fled or burned, the Karun Council demanded answers. They requested an explanation from Terran Command. Why risk so much for a minor trading species? The response came from Captain Mercer himself, broadcast openly to every surviving station. Years ago, one of your captains stopped to help a human who had nothing to offer. He survived because you chose decency over profit. Humans do not forget that. He paused, letting the words settle. We are not here because you are powerful. We are here because you are kind. The Karun struggled to understand. Their culture valued contracts and balance sheets, but humans valued stories, names, and memories. Terrans did not fight for territory alone. They fought for ideas, for loyalty earned through small actions, for debts measured in lives rather than credits. Across human fleets, the same sentiment echoed quietly. We answer calls, especially old ones. Asterix's rebuilding took years. The Karun changed after that day. They redesigned their fleets, not just for trade, but for defense. More importantly, they changed how they treated others. They answered distress calls without calculation. They recorded names, faces, and stories, because they learned what humans already knew. Kindness travels farther than fear, and debts remembered can summon fleets. In Terran space, the story of the Karun became legend, taught in academies, and whispered in bars. A reminder carved into fleet doctrine without being written. Help when you can. Remember who helped you. And when the call goes out, answer. Because somewhere, someone remembers your name. And one day, the stars might remember it too.